Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar with an overview of the 2013 SIIA Marketing Industry Report. My name is Rihanna Collier, and I'm the Vice President of the Software Division here at SIIA. I'll be taking you through the findings of our report today, but also with me are Mary Brandon, Vice President of Marketing at SoftServe, and Jason Miller, Social Media Manager at Marketto. I am delighted to have both Mary and Jason with me today as they're going to give you an insight into their own successful marketing strategies. They'll talk a little bit about what they find works well and how to measure the success around some of the newer marketing initiatives. Before we get started, as always, I want to just go over a few housekeeping reminders. All of your lines will remain on mute. So if you'd like to ask any questions, please use the chat box there to the left of your screen. We'll do our best to address as many questions as we can following the presentations. If for some reason we don't get to your question, we'll follow up via email after the webinar. We will be recording today's webinar, and the recordings and the presentations will be sent to you at the conclusion of today's event. I want to take a quick moment to highlight SIIA's upcoming flagship conference, All About the Cloud, or AATC for short. AATC brings together leading ISVs for 2.5 days of networking, of sessions with leading technology executives, workshops, you name it, we've got it. I highly encourage you to mark your calendar and plan to attend. It's May 7th through 9th in San Francisco. In fact, I'm extending a special registration offer to all webinar attendees today. So if you register for the conference by March 15th, you can take advantage of a discounted registration rate of $695, which you see there, which is actually $300 off the current SIIA member registration rate and nearly $800 off the non-member rate. So good deal, huh? The website's there on your screen, siia.net/AATC. Again, I encourage you to take advantage of this offer. In addition, if your company is interested in further visibility at the conference through a sponsorship, let me know. We do fully expect to sell out again this year. My contact information is there on the screen, and again, we'll provide all these details in the follow-up to today's webinar. Okay, let's get started with why we're all here today. For the past 2 years now, SIIA has conducted a survey of marketing executives to better understand how companies are using different marketing tactics to build their brands, gain leads, and improve customer support. We conducted the survey in Q4 of 2012 and are releasing the full report this week. So the full report is available for SIIA members, and anyone on this webinar will also receive a copy of the full report in our email follow-up. Again, I'm going to go through a number of data points throughout this presentation, so it might be a little overwhelming, but certainly all the information will be provided to you in the follow-up for your review. To set the stage, just a couple of demographics from the survey respondents. A majority, actually 84% of respondents stated that their primary market is North America, and you can see here that companies ranged in revenue bracket, majority falling under $50 million in revenue. You can also see that the majority of respondents stated that they had less than 500 employees. Okay, let's jump right in. The survey itself was broken into 3 sections: social media, mobile marketing, and email marketing. So what I'm going to do is share some of the key data points we took from the results in each of these sections. So let's start with social media. It's certainly no longer a question of whether social media should be a part of a company's marketing mix. The survey results indicate that companies continue to increase their use of social media. So 98% of respondents stated that they're using social media marketing. That's up from 89% in 2011. And nearly 70% of those respondents also believe that social media has a positive impact on their business. You can see there 58% plan to increase their overall marketing spend for social media in 2013, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But given those numbers, it's no surprise that more companies are also looking to outsource efforts around social media, particularly around content creation and analytics. As more firms continue to engage in social media and more data analytics tools become available, I think businesses are starting to get a better understanding of what social media marketing costs the organization. You can see a majority of the survey respondents here that were using social media marketing, 63%, said that their company's overall marketing costs remain the same, while 7% of firms said the social media marketing decreased its overall marketing costs, which is up slightly from 2011. And I should mention that in the report there are a number of comparison charts that compare the 2011 data to the 2012 data, so you can use those for reference as well. As social media is maturing, I think companies are applying the same ROI metrics to social media as they would for other marketing. For example, here nearly 74% of businesses use web traffic as an indicator of social media ROI. That's up 14% from 2011. And also here, like 60% of the respondents are using social media, or they use the number of connections or conversations as a key ROI metric, which is also up from 14% from 2011. I think this suggests that some firms have found a way to correlate social media efforts to business leads. The number of qualified leads conversions also ranks high here with 51%, while brand awareness fell slightly in the rankings and down just 4%. There on the right, time spent on social media marketing varies widely by company. But overall, I think we're continuing to see an increase. However, the majority of companies here, you can see, are still spending under 10 hours per week on these efforts. I think you'll see that won't be so true when you hear from Mary and Jason, who have dedicated staff to manage their social media platforms. Now let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in mobile marketing. So while we have almost 100% of the survey respondents using social media marketing, only 25% are using mobile marketing. Now I guess it's not surprising by the next data point that says less than 5% of their customers are using their mobile solution. However, I still believe that we can't ignore how overall mobile usage is changing how our customers and businesses access our information and services. But as a result, over a third of the companies said that mobile has changed their company's relationship with its customers. 16% of the executives said mobile increased product usage, and 11% said mobile has expanded their range of customer segments. A number that might surprise some, and certainly did me, was that only 10% of respondents said mobile increased frequency of customer contact, which was down from 23% in 2011. I think what we're seeing is that mobile continues to be a challenge as companies develop these mobile marketing strategies. Okay, let's spend a few moments on email marketing. On the email front, the survey respondents continued to use the standard ROI metrics. However, companies are having more difficulty measuring the ROI, with 45% of respondents feeling they cannot effectively measure online marketing ROI, and that's up 6% from 2011. It's no surprise that open rates and click-through rates remain the top two metrics companies use to measure ROI of an email marketing campaign, and I think it was post-click conversion rates that came in third. An interesting point is that the top two metrics companies use to measure the ROI of the email marketing campaign, the open rates and the click-through rates, have actually increased, which suggests that marketers are being more targeted in their communications. In fact, 75% of respondents have a 1% or less unsubscribe rate for their email marketing campaigns. That's an 18% improvement from 2011. Not bad. You'll see here the chart there on the right. You can see that email marketing still remains a constant, with the majority of companies spending or sending at least one email per week. And then the chart there on the left is again those measurements of email ROI. In the report, we referenced the 2012 Silver Pop email marketing metrics benchmarking study, which found that the average open rate for emails was 20.1%, while the click-through rates were 5.2%. Now our survey respondents saw lower numbers. You can see there that nearly 40% of the respondents are seeing open rates within the 11 to 25% range, and a third, 31%, are seeing average open rates of 6 to 10%. Just over 16% of the firms achieved click-through rates in the 4 to 5% range, and almost 50% were in the 2 to 3% range. Okay, so what can we expect to see from marketing in the coming year? It's no doubt that companies believe social media is important, and you'll certainly hear that from Mary and Jason. And I think companies are using all the available channels to reach their target audience. Given the large number of marketers in our survey that are targeting businesses, it's no surprise that LinkedIn was again the channel where most survey respondents plan to increase the use of in 2013, over 80%, which is up from 75% in 2011. Who plan to increase the use of LinkedIn. Twitter followed closely with 70% planning to increase their use. While Twitter and LinkedIn remain, at the top, Facebook continues to rank behind even blogs and wikis, which took third place. We definitely have a B2B audience in the survey, so maybe that's not surprising. I think blogs and wikis, they can be internal or external facing, and firms are certainly using them as shorter form of customer and prospect educational tools. YouTube has also gained a following, with over half of the marketers expecting to increase its use. Many firms are now creating YouTube channels for the business as well as the products. In 2011, we predicted that we'd see new targeted social networks and marketplaces emerge, and we certainly see that here with Google+ and Pinterest gaining some attention. This will continue to present both opportunities and challenges for marketers. They certainly will be challenged to split resources amongst the larger versus the more targeted communities that are emerging. You can see on the chart on the right there that social media is leading the way for increased marketing spend in 2013, which I mentioned earlier, probably not surprising, and then we have SEO following right behind. So I would say the results of our survey give all indications that businesses and marketers are embracing a wide range of marketing methods to reach their audiences. While email continues to be an important part of the marketing toolkit, social media is certainly growing in importance. I think now it's an integral part of most marketing efforts, and obviously here the data says companies plan to use a range of social media challenge and increase the social media spend. Mobile continues to be a challenge as companies struggle with a mobile marketing strategy. But I think overall marketers are optimistic about the tools and the opportunity to drive greater communication and business in new markets. I think data analytics will play a big part in the evolving role of marketing. And then finally, some of the things that will continue to be challenges for marketers are educating the prospects, differentiation, and of course the ever struggling problem of internal marketing budgets. Now, with that, I'd like to introduce Mary Brandon, Vice President of Marketing at SoftServe. SoftServe is a leading provider of software development, testing, and consultant services. I invited Mary to join us today because her team's taken some interesting approaches in developing and executing their marketing strategy, and she's going to share some of that with us. So Mary, I'd like to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Rihanna, and thank you all for attending today. The company, SoftServe, has been around for 20 years, and I have been with them for about 3 years. And our marketing has taken a completely different path in 2012 from the previous years. And I wanted to start by saying that the 80-20 rule still has a lot of merit here at SoftServe. 20% of our marketing initiatives deliver 80% of our leads and our closed sales. But the other 60% of our initiatives and programs are helping to increase our brand awareness, to build trust with our prospects, and to nurture the leads that aren't ready to purchase right away. So today, what I'm actually going to talk a little bit about is what our key initiatives are. We have a website and SEO, which plays a very large role in our success in marketing, content marketing, public relations and social media, marketing automation, and finally, how we measure ourselves and what's been working and what hasn't. So let's take a little closer look at our corporate website and SEO. We actually have 3 websites that we manage at SoftServe. Our corporate website, our business magazine called Executive Brief, that discusses through articles popular topics like software development, outsourcing, SaaS in the cloud, and project management. And we also created a community website, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Our corporate website, like any website, is our window to our customers and prospects. So we spend a lot of time on our messaging, who we are, what we do, how we do it, why we're different. We just recently started adding corroboration from our customers in testimonials, both written and video, but the largest focus and change to our website over the last year is our social media and making it easy and fun to follow SoftServe. We also wanted to make it easier for prospects and customers to access our website on their mobile devices, smartphones, or tablets, so we designed a mobile version of the site as well. And if you haven't already done that for your company, it's very important, because if you've ever looked up a website on your mobile phone and it hasn't been optimized for a mobile version, it is so tiny that what you find yourself doing is expanding and contracting the screen continuously, which makes it very difficult to stay and get business. So creating mobile versions for your website, I think, is very important. We think about mobile devices in all of our marketing efforts, and we work to have a mobile version of everything from our websites to customer satisfaction surveys to the ability for our customers to view their project status right online 24/7 whenever they want to. We haven't started marketing directly to a mobile device, but we're in the process right now of putting together our mobile marketing strategy and initiatives. And one of the reasons why I think this survey showed that there were challenges is because still we think of our mobile device as our personal device, even though it may be used for business. And when someone advertises on that mobile device, some people take offense to that. I think in just under a year's time, people are going to realize that if I want to get really good advertising and I want to know about the products and services I'm interested in, that mobile devices are going to be the way to look at them and not just on your web page or if you're on your PC. So I think that the tide is turning, but I think it's still a little soon to do direct marketing directly to mobile devices. But all the work, energy, and effort that we put into our websites is completely wasted if our prospects can't find us. So we spend a lot of time on search engine optimization. We have a dedicated person in marketing that makes sure we have the right keywords, that we're using them in the right manner and the right time, the right amount of times. We create a lot of links to other important websites, which is very critical in getting a good placement in your search engines. Our main goal with our website is to keep it current and as easily found on search engines as possible, and we like to change the website each quarter so we keep it fresh and get repeat visitors. The next critical initiative for us is content marketing. There was a time when you could market to your prospects what you thought they wanted to know from your company, your products, the benefits, the key differentiators. But today, you don't have the luxury of making assumptions. You need to be sure your marketing content that's relevant to your prospects, that you're doing it just enough times and not too much or too little. Our marketing automation system and different types of software allow us to know who's visiting our website, the topics that they have interest in, the pages they're spending the most time on. If they fill a form out and download a white paper or case study, we get a lot of information about them. What blogs are most interesting and getting the most reads and the most comments. So we take our content included in the areas of SaaS and cloud, mobile, business intelligence and big data, network security, and content management, and we design programs and content from those analytics we get from our website and from all the things that we do in marketing to take the right content and go into specific groups of prospects to market to, and nothing is general anymore. Everything is specific. We use multiple mediums to get that message across, from our website to marketing collateral to blogs, videos, and especially social media. Our next and biggest initiative is public relations and social media. PR has changed dramatically over the last 3 to 5 years. Press releases, customer case studies, bylined articles, speaking engagements, they're all still important in any part of a PR plan. However, social media is ruling right now, and it's only getting more popular and critically a necessity for every company to be working with. So in SoftServe, we actually work on the 3 big platforms of Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We use a third-party platform to help us manage our posts, monitor our keywords for what our target market is interested in, and we use the daily, weekly, and monthly metrics to know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong, so we can continually update and enhance what we're doing over these platforms. We use social media for brand awareness. We make sure we let our markets and our prospects and customers know why should they be using SoftServe. Where are we holding events? When we have a webinar, where and when is it going to be, and what are the topics going to be? We have technical workshops geographically all over the country. Where are they going to be and what are the topics? Where is SoftServe speaking, and is it a conference that I should be going to? We also use social media to find new leads. For the first time since I joined SoftServe, we're receiving about 10 to 15 of our leads from social media platforms and requests that are coming from our website. And these leads are qualified and closing, which is the key element in why our website is so important and our social media platforms are so important. We have a dedicated social media manager and 2 other folks that work with her on copywriting that watch and monitor our posts on a daily basis. We make sure we're pushing out the right information and monitoring what is out there, what are the questions that are being asked that are relevant to SoftServe, and how can we answer those questions and get people to know who we are. We're using social tools like social sharing buttons and social sign-ins to make conversing and sharing with our prospects and customers as simple as possible. We took it one step further in SoftServe, and we developed an online community to engage with our customers and prospects so they could speak directly with a SoftServe expert, join a specific group or forum, start or respond to a blog, read news that is important to them about SoftServe, and find important information or resources at the touch of a button. So we wanted a simple one-stop shop to find what they want, when and how they wanted it, and it's been very, very successful for us. Our mobile version of this is coming out this month. At the start of this conversation, I said that what ties our marketing initiatives together is our marketing automation system. And marketing automation is different than a customer relationship management system or a CRM system for sales. It works in concert with CRMs, but it's very different. It focuses on lead acquisition and demand generation activities. It automates marketing processes from strategic planning and campaign design to customer segmentation, lead generation, nurturing campaigns, prospect scoring, and certainly analytics. And I won't go too deep into marketing automation, but I would strongly recommend researching marketing automation systems and finding the best one for your company. It has been the foundation of success for SoftServe. If you think about your email campaigns, your invitation to webinars or events, your content marketing targets, it all relies on your database of prospects. So if you don't spend money on marketing automation and cleansing the database on a regular basis, I think you're doing yourself and your marketing team and sales team a disservice. So anyone in marketing knows you're only as good as the results you're delivering that month. So metrics are critical for your survival. Every marketing VP or CMO may have a different method of measuring results, but the ones that we do in SoftServe are on the screen right now. Cost per lead. We have 2 measurements that we do. We do cost per lead per program and average cost per lead. And the reason we break it into 2 is the cost per lead per program is an internal metric that the marketing team measures themselves on to know what programs are working, where qualified leads are coming from, and which ones are not working, so we can immediately make some changes, take them away, delete them completely, or enhance them. The average cost per lead is the measurement that we actually report to our board of directors and our senior team. And that is a much more broad, looking over all the programs, giving you a really good idea of our overall success. New customers, that is one of our main metrics for marketing. From 2011 to 2012, we had a 40% growth rate in new customers. So the marketing that we put together in 2012 was astounding compared to 2011, and one of the main differences was the way we used our marketing automation system and social media. Qualified leads to sales. We stopped in the middle of the beginning of the first month of last year, and we said, let's take some time to review every single customer that SoftServe has ever had. And let's look at the greatest successes of customers and put together a profile of the best prospect we could possibly hope to find to turn into one of these great customers. We took that profile, and our marketing team now uses that profile as a Bible before they can add anybody to our database. They have to live up to that profile. And what had transpired in 2012 was that 40% of all the leads that we delivered to sales were converted and put on the sales pipeline. And 43% is a very, very high and good number. We're always shooting for 50%, but we're at 43%. And for closed sales, almost 30% of all the customer closed sales in 2012 came from the marketing department. And again, that's a really good number. So my final words to everyone on the call is, you need to plan for success. We had a banner year in 2012 and an amazing start to 2013 strictly because of our marketing automation system, our increased brand awareness and qualified leads from our PR and social media programs, having dedicated people on each of these initiatives so there's only one thing they think about every day when they come in the morning and one thing they think about when they go home at night. We have multiple programs so we can ensure our overall success, and we have our metrics that we work on weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. And our weekly ones are internal so we can make sure that we're meeting our objectives for each month. And it's been working really wonderful for us. So I can't say enough about what we're doing with social media. And I really want to thank Rihanna for doing this marketing study, because it really helped us understand where we fall with other clients and with other customers like ourselves. And it was a really good dose of reality of we're going in the right directions in some places, and we need to maybe turn and look at other places. So I hope some of this information was helpful to you. I thank you so much for your attention, and I'll turn the webinar back over to Rihanna.
Thank you, Mary. That was great. I would like to introduce next Jason Miller. Jason is the social media manager at Marketto, and you heard Mary speak of the importance of a marketing automation solution. Jason, I don't think she could have given you a better, almost a sales pitch for marketing automation, as Marketto is one of the leading marketing automation providers in the market. So not only do they provide a marketing solution themselves, they utilize a number of innovative marketing tactics to grow their own business and increase their brand. So I invited Jason here to share some of their success stories. So Jason, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Rihanna, and fantastic stuff there, Mary. Now, Mary gave a much bigger overview. I'm going to get more into the tactical plan of the tactics of how we have seen success here at Marketto with our social media. And social is super important for us. We have 2 people dedicated to social. And it's one of our top drivers for prospects. And prospects, I mean, qualified people who fit our buying profile. Social is tremendously effective for this. I'm going to go into how we do it here and show you some examples. First up, there's 5 essentials for success. I've been doing this for the past year and a half here at Marketto, and these are through lots of trial and error. Trial and error is terribly underrated. these are the 5 essentials that I've come across that I find work the best. Number 1, inbound is not enough. A lot of companies preach inbound marketing. That's fantastic, but you need to put a little bit of outbound behind that to support it, to break through your initial reach in social, especially if you're just starting. You need to break through to the secondary connections, the peer-to-peer power. That's where it kicks in and really expands on your reach and brings those new folks to your website, drives inbound traffic through an outbound combined with inbound approach. The second essential I found is the 411 rule, which basically means for every one self-serving tweet or Facebook post or Google Plus post, you should retweet or one relevant tweet, and more importantly, share 4 pieces of relevant content by others. Basically, I'll get into that more and explain that a little bit more, but it's basically saying don't just talk about yourself. Don't broadcast. Number 3, content is still king. Content fuels all of this, all of your social efforts. It fuels it. It drives the leads. It gets the people's interest and brings them back to your site, gives them something to take away. The mantra used to be always be selling. Now it should always be helping. Find the customer pain points, develop that content, and then use social to disseminate it. Number 4, social signals. I'll get into that in more detail in a moment. And then advocates, and that's basically just talking about advocates for your brand, starting with your employees. So I spoke about this briefly, but inbound plus outbound equals awesomeness. And basically, the idea here is again to break through to your initial reach. Take those, a little bit of paid advertising on Facebook, a little paid advertising on Twitter, LinkedIn goes a really long way. You'll start to see your results much faster, and it's essential to break through to and gain new followers and build that entire reach of your social programs. The 411 rule, basically, again, I mentioned it before, but this can apply to like lead nurturing. This can apply to your email campaigns. This can apply to pretty much everything. This is basically just saying don't get out there and broadcast your message. Get out there and engage. I know it's kind of an overused buzzword, but show people you're paying attention. Get on their radar, and then the best way to do that is to share their messaging, share other relevant content, share content from other thought leaders in your space. Commenting on blogs. It all kind of plays into this. The next one, content is king. I know it's another kind of overplayed statement these days, but it's still true. Content fuels lead gen, and social helps disseminate that content. So, a big challenge for companies these days is how do you produce enough content to get out there and make a difference? Well, the question is, look around and see what content you have. This is an analogy I borrowed from Rebecca Lieb from the Altimeter Group, who is a content marketing master. I highly recommend you check her out. She has this great analogy about content and repurposing. You basically think of it like leftover turkey. So during Thanksgiving, you have all this turkey left over, and you repurpose it into different things. You make a turkey sandwich, you make a turkey stew or whatever. The idea is just to look around at the content you have, the videos, the white papers, and see how you can repurpose those. We've taken white papers and turned them into SlideShare presentations, into infographics. We've pulled a lot of content out of one white paper and turned it into different ways that people want to consume it out there in the social space. It's drove a tremendous amount of traffic, and it's a great piece. It's helping people. It's getting out there in front of them while they're doing their research around, while they're looking for a solution to their problem. Next up, social signals influence Google. This is kind of a new thing since Google's constantly reevaluating and tweaking their algorithm to show the most relevant search results, right? So the new thing is anchor text keywords are kind of going. They're kind of not important. They're still important, but they're not as important anymore. The way that Google defines if your content or your social is relevant is by the number of the sheer engagement, the number of shares it gets. The number of +1s is super important. I'll get into Google Plus. Don't forget about the sleeping giant there. But all the tweets you have, all the shares you have, if you have your employees like posting updates about your company in LinkedIn, non-salesy of course, very conversational, those signals help with search results in Google plus in LinkedIn. So it's super important. There are all these social signals, and the more you have, the more you're going to be mentioned out there. The more you're going to rank, the better you're going to serve yourself when you do promote something in content. You're going to give yourself more relevance and show up above your competition. Leveraging your employees and advocates. This is super important as well. We use a tool called GaggleAmp, and what GaggleAmp does is it basically takes all of our most important messages, our social messages, and loads them up into a queue. And then our employees here, I think we have close to 100 employees who are participating in this program. And what they do is they log in with their social accounts and they just pick which messages that they want to share to their account. And it's completely measurable. We drive traffic back to the site. But more importantly, we get those social signals that are so important to Google to show that our content is relevant and helping people. A good gag lamp is a great one. Advocate, ADDVACOTE, is another one that's just starting. But the future of this, I think the future of social when it comes to companies getting their word out there in a natural way is to get the employees to advocate for you. And we actually gamify it too. So we have an incentive every month for points accumulated through sharing the messages at Marketto. It works out really well. So here I'm going to dive into some specific examples. Using Twitter for lead gen. Twitter is a tremendous social channel for us. It drives a ton of traffic, and it really helps us get our content out there, especially in the B2B world. I think it's terribly underutilized. The 3 keys to Twitter for lead generation for us are, again, organic plus promoted tweets. So that goes back to my inbound plus outbound. You can tweet something out, and it's going to be alive for about 10 seconds in most cases, right? So if you put $50 behind that, you're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of more impressions. We take a Marketto link to a landing page, drop it in that message, track it all the way back to our opportunities closed, to our revenue cycle. It's incredibly powerful. As I mentioned, the Advocate program, people are searching social channels just as much as they are Google for product and ideas and solutions and content. So when they type something into Google or when they type something into Twitter or Facebook, you want to have as many mentions out there so you can rank higher and show up more. That's super important. And then the third thing is just to kind of A/B test your tweets. I know it might sound a little silly, but see which ones are working. Change your messaging up. Take a line from David Ogilvy and write your headline, and then test it with 3 different other ones. It's super important just to optimize that and see what's working. These are actual results. A couple examples of some promoted tweets that we used, and then the actual results here. You can see, I won't get into too much detail here, but Twitter, this is over 6 months, I believe, but Twitter drove $290,000 in pipeline. That's at a cost per prospect $37. A little expensive for us. We're going to get that down a little bit, but it's all about tweaking. This is all new, man. This channel wasn't here, a few years ago. So this is a great way to just test things and see what's getting reactions and driving new traffic that you didn't have this opportunity before. So we take full advantage of it. In that report, I was really surprised to see 80% of the companies reported to increase spending in LinkedIn. LinkedIn is fantastic for B2B. Don't get me wrong, but I'm telling you what. Facebook is where you're at. There's 900 million people on Facebook. You're telling me that your decision makers, your buyers, your directors, your CEOs are not on there? Of course they are. Are they there to be sold to? Absolutely not. But if you can entertain them and help them at the same time, that's incredibly effective. The targeting that you can do in Facebook advertising is the craziest targeting I've ever seen. You can target by workplace, by job title. You can use the targeting is a mini PR machine to show it to people, show your latest blog post to the people who work at Forbes. It's incredibly powerful, and it's cheap. You can get these click-throughs we've seen click-throughs for 5 cents a piece. It's crazy. Anyway, but back to Facebook for lead gen. How we use it here, use your Facebook real estate wisely. I'll talk about that in a second. Visual is vital. Visual is your new headline. Super important. Visual captures their attention. You have fractions of a second to pull them into your ad or pull them into your post. And then tie it back to an offer. Super important. And the idea here, you don't want to break EdgeRank. You want to understand EdgeRank, and you want to learn how to manage it effectively. Optimizing your Facebook page. These 3 tabs up here, these are prime real estate, lead gen opportunity. You can tie those back to an offer, to a form, to an ebook, something helpful. Take full advantage of that. Apps inside Facebook, they're engaging. Come up with a fun contest or a fun offer. They say they don't work for B2B. I say you're completely wrong. it's all about how you present it and how you target it and your expected results. You're not going to have Coca-Cola results, but you're going to have results of people being engaged. We get customers from these fun Facebook campaigns. Facebook for lead gen, again, as I mentioned before, the B2B folks aren't there to be sold to. They're there to be entertained and connect with other people. So we found that these memes here, in combination with solid authors, you mix these things up, do one post in the morning, and you can see there it's all tied back to a bit.ly link, which is a Marketto link going to a landing page. But a little bit, I think we put $200 behind these memes, and they're driving prospects like crazy, as I'll show you here. Again, these are my metrics from last year. These are really recent. You can see we got the cost per prospect. And again, this is not just a name coming into our campaign. This is a qualified prospect. We got it down in November. We drove 2,046 prospects from Facebook at a cost of $6.82 per lead. Where can you get that? You can't get that on PPC. That is super hyper-targeted Facebook with really great content. Another one I want to talk about real quick, and I'm going to speed up here a little bit so I can get through all these, but SlideShare for lead generation. SlideShare is a fantastic tool for engagement. Take your webinar presentations, your slide decks, your white papers, turn them all into something, put them on SlideShare. It's great for SEO, and it's great engagement for your customer. Works really well around the multi-touch attribution model, not so much as the first touch, but it pushes them down the funnel. It engages them. Super helpful. Here's an example of how we use some of our metrics. You can see the numbers here. SlideShare drives pipeline. It's right there. LinkedIn, super important. A couple things to keep in mind with LinkedIn. Optimize your business page, super important. Optimize individual employee pages. This is cool because it gives you a little bit of an SEO boost. Just make sure your employees' pages have the company, they're tied back to the blog, and they have certain keywords throughout there, and that they take their profile pictures seriously. And again, the obvious, utilize groups, LinkedIn Today, the news feed. Those are great ways. We drop links in there back to Marketto. We drop helpful links in. We share other folks' blog posts. Works out really well. Here you can see just a couple of examples how we optimize our pages. And again, the most important part is just to make sure you have your presence here and make sure you're using it and updating it frequently. YouTube here. YouTube, fantastic opportunity. There was a report that came out a little while ago that said CMOs watch more video than they read blogs. That's fantastic. It's even better that you can actually optimize YouTube. YouTube is owned by Google, so don't think there's not some kind of SEO thing going back there. Put your videos up, and sorry, I was lagging on a slide there. Put your videos up there, optimize your channel, optimize your individual videos. And what I mean by that is just make sure you have really good keyword-rich descriptions. Just basically tell them what the video does. That's going to show up in search. It's going to give you the edge over your competition the more views you get. And then encourage comments and subscribers. Super important stuff. You can see here, this is our YouTube channel. And this is incredible. All that stuff I have highlighted, those are all free links, right? So they may not get a bunch of traffic, but they're all going to direct landing pages at Marketto, very specific. So the people who do come in from those are more likely to convert because it's like a long tail keyword. They know what they're looking for. They're clicking on something that they want to learn more about. Google+. If there's one thing you take away from this webinar that I'm going to talk about, it's the importance of Google+. This is the sleeping giant. Google is making a big play here. And it's essential. Number 2 here is probably the most important thing. Of course, you want to include your keywords and relevant links on your About page. That's free links, it's free SEO again. Number 2, set up Google authorship for SEO benefits. Super important. Very simple to do. It's a 2-step process. You're basically linking the author's Google Plus profile to the blog. And then, of course, don't forget about your Google Plus page. Post often and share others. It's just like any other community. Get in there and engage. This is an example of, I jumped ahead there. This is an example of an optimized About page. You can see the keywords, and then you can see the links. Again, those are free links from Google. Take advantage of those. And another thing, another way that we kind of use social to add a little boost to our campaigns, and this is email, social, landing pages, is we make it easy and frictionless, and we incentivize the sharing. So if we release a piece of content, and we put it on this book, of course you download the content, but then we incentivize them with social apps to share that, to win. This one here, you get five friends to download this book. We'll send you a free T-shirt and a hard copy of the guide. The results have been really well. Have done really well for us. And then, of course, what do you do with all this data? If you're out there doing all this social stuff, the most important thing is to have a dashboard in place, identifying your influencers. Who are these people who are sharing your message, who are advocating, who have the biggest reach, who are making the biggest impact, who are driving the most folks back to your campaigns and website? We measure that as well, and we identify these folks, and we pay a little bit more attention to them. We cater our campaigns directly towards them, and we reward them at the same time. But it's all about taking everything you can and measuring the metrics that make sense. At Marketto, our bottom line is we measure, at the end of the day, we measure opportunities. But I have my metrics, I have my reach, I have my referral traffic back, and social media ROI is no more mystery if you have the right programs in place. If you have the right tools, you can track these campaigns, you can see who's coming in from where, you can see who's converting, who's becoming opportunities, and who's contributing to pipeline and ultimately closing into revenue. So we have tons of stuff around this. There's an ebook on the website that describes all of the stuff I talked about in detail. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's how we, in a nutshell, that's how we handle social here at Marketto.
Thank you, Jason. That was great. If anybody has any questions, we now have a few minutes that we're going to take some audience questions. I do have one, Mary. This is for you, actually, kind of two-part. One is, how big of a company is SoftServe? And then on the community area, is there a person managing that? How do you monitor traffic, interest, and is it targeting a certain management or executive level within your clients?
Sure, I can answer that. SoftServe has right now almost 3,000 employees. And on the community site, there's actually 4 people that run the site. We have an IT person who does all of the mechanics, the actual mechanics behind the scenes. We have one web developer that adds all the content, monitors the content, and we have 2 copywriters that are assisting our web developer. So as we do blogs, as we do case studies, white papers, resources that our customers are asking for, we make sure we have a copywriter on staff to be able to put all of that data up in a very short time frame when it's requested. So we actually have 4 people, and it's targeted everywhere from the technical programmer that does the software development all the way to the CIO level on what business value, for example, bringing your PC applications to a mobile device, what kind of business value would you get, what kind of return on investment would you get. So we target for the technical folks as well as the C-series folks so they would understand the business side of the house.
Great, thank you. Jason, you talked about the Google authorship for SEO benefits. Can you explain a little bit more about what that means? And also, I'd be interested to know what kind of response you're getting from some of your Google Plus efforts.
Oh, absolutely. And again, sorry for speaking so quick. This is this is like the greatest hits of like an hour-long presentation I usually do. But Google authorship, incredibly important, and it's only going to get more important. And the reason being is that Google needs a way, or Google likes to show the most relevant results possible. So your job as a marketer is to make sure that Google can tell what your content is, who wrote it, what it's about, and how it's being received out there in the social world or across the web. So a couple things. Basically, you're just tying your authorship from your Google Plus page, the author's bio, back to the blog. But the benefits to this are you're showing Google, you're proving to them who the author is, and that's going to give you relevance. It's going to give you a boost in SEO in rankings. And number 2, there's been a couple of different tests that show that click-throughs on a blog that show the author's photo next to it in the search engine rankings actually gets more engagement. People feel like, oh, they see this person, they see the actual author next to the article, and they're more likely to click through to that. So again, it's super simple to do. There's 1 billion blog posts out there that turn it into like a process where you have to get IT, but it takes 2 seconds to do. It's very simple. Again, you just get this real author tag from Google, and you kind of link one back to the other. Very simple to do. And some of the success we've seen with Google Plus, we don't drive really paid programs in Google+, but we do see leads come in there organically. And Google Hangouts are kind of the next big thing. Google Hangouts is a tremendous opportunity right now. It's super simple to do. If you need some content, we just started a thing called the Marketing Happy Hour, where it's basically like a 30-minute Google Hangout every 2 weeks with a different thought leader. And we basically just hang out with them and talk about what's going on in social, what's going on in marketing automation. And then the cool thing about Google Plus is with the On-Airs feature, YouTube syncs up to it, automatically records that, and now you did a little engagement. You can send out invites to this through Google. It's free to do. And now you have a piece of content in the form of a video recording of that session. All automated. You drop that in your resources page, drop it in your blog, drop it into Google+, share it across the social channels. It's a thought leadership piece that works.
Great. Now, both of you have dedicated staff to manage social media, obviously indicating the importance of these initiatives. Certainly, our survey indicated that a lot of people aren't quite there yet. They've got people spending less than maybe 10 hours a week on social media. At what point did your companies decide that this was a focus that required dedicated staff? Either one of you want to take that?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. Social has always been really important at Marketto. An interesting stat is that 40% of Marketto's customers first came into contact with Marketto through a piece of our content, and that's either through email marketing or through social. But it's just the power of that's really important. So again, I've been here for about a year and a half, and I took over and built up this whole new kind of lead generation standpoint of doing social. But we have two people involved. I think when you do see success and you do see customers and leads and traffic, again, if you can go into a CMO's office and say, check this out. Look at all the traffic that I drove from social. Look at the campaigns that are getting results, that are getting conversions and successes and driving targeted leads. Look at the lift that social is giving your campaigns. And you got to segment this out. You can't lose credit to the rest of the demand gen team. You'll have to work in all together, but you need to section it out. You need to prove your results. If you're not proving your results, this thing will go away very quickly.
Mary, do you have anything to add?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. What had happened was we had no one dedicated to social media at all. So what would happen is if somebody thought about it during the day, they'd say, oh, maybe I should post this. Maybe we should run this campaign through social media platforms. And it was always a second afterthought. But I asked one person if they would put together a plan for me as to how they would manage social media so I could take a very high-level look and go to our senior team and say, we're gonna try something new. What it also did for us, which was amazing, is once this person started to be dedicated, that's all they thought about when they came into the office, it started to help us decrease our marketing lead cost. Because some of our other leads, the way we get leads, are through events or otherwise, and it could be $3,000 cost per lead, and you say, that's outrageous, so how are we going to start driving those costs down? So when we started using social media, the cost for doing it was so much less than any of the other programs we were working on that I got an immediate, do whatever you need, here's the budget for more people, we need to play in this arena. So it started showing results. That's always the way that you can get people to hear you and see what you're doing. So you have to do a trial and error. You have to do a few things that maybe won't work. But once you start seeing results, that's what you report back to the senior team. The budget came, the person came, and now we're dedicated. So it definitely took us almost 1 year to convince anybody that it was really, really important. And a year later now, we're showing the results.
That's great. Jason, on SlideShare, do you get metrics of who is accessing your slides?
Absolutely. I know I kind of cruised through that slide, but there were actual metrics in there. SlideShare is terribly underutilized, especially in the B2B world. This is another place you got to adapt your content to the consumer and to the buyer and the prospect. How do they want to consume your content? A lot of these people like a visual approach. That's where SlideShare comes into play. You get a little slide deck up there, you tell a little story. It's incredibly powerful. And SlideShare Pro, which I think is like $19 a month or something like that, they have lead forms on there. So whatever you put up there, if somebody wants to download that, they just have to fill out a simple lead form. You can sync that lead form directly in your marketing automation system and kind of set it and forget it. And these leads start coming in. It's incredibly powerful. And again, it's just another way to repurpose your content and get in front of people. And it's searchable, it's SEO worthy, and it's a tremendous asset for marketers.
So, Jason, you mentioned a couple of third-party tools that you use. I'm wondering if either of you could maybe throw out some other suggestions for the marketers on the line of third-party tools that they can use to manage these social media platforms and also get the analytics that are needed to really manage it appropriately.
I certainly can share that we use Hootsuite, which has been very, very helpful for us. It's simple to use. It doesn't take 5 people to try to figure out the manual as to how you use it. It's self-explanatory and it's been very helpful. We're getting a little bit more, I would say, into a secondary or a sophomoric way, let's say, and our freshman style of Hootsuite, we may actually go ahead and go back out and do some research and get something that gives us a little bit more power, gets us more metrics that come back. Hootsuite is very good to get started with. If anybody is not doing it, it's a wonderful platform to get started with, but you may want more tools going forward.
Yeah, I agree, Mary. Hootsuite is essential. It's fantastic for, especially if you don't have a lot of time to dedicate. You can schedule your tweets and your updates through there. It's great for monitoring. We use Radian 6 as well. If you do have the budget for Radian 6, it's absolutely the most powerful thing out there. I use that for reporting. We do share of voice. Against our competition. We do share of conversation reports, basically the number of mentions that Marketto has in the marketing automation space, lead nurturing space, any other keywords we're looking to rank for. Analytics, Google Analytics, very simple. It's a free tool. If you can prove that you're driving traffic from social, Google has a great little channel for social. You can set up your conversions and you can see who's coming in from where, how long they're staying on your site, what are the pages they're visiting. So I would say you need Hootsuite, Radian 6 for monitoring, and then Google Analytics. I think that's pretty much it.
Great. Now, just on average, one final question for you guys. What would you say, we'll use Twitter. I know that, a lot of when things are posted to Twitter, they're also posted to LinkedIn and Facebook. But, how many posts do you do per day, would you say, on average? Jason, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it depends. Twitter, you do one tweet an hour on Twitter, right? But obviously, like I said, you want to be sharing other stuff too. Find out who your most influential people are in your industry. Drop them into a Twitter list and just retweet them and comment on their stuff all day long. Right? That's great. Facebook, post AM, mid-morning, afternoon, maybe one in the evening, and then call it a day, like 3 to 4 tops a day. LinkedIn, I'd say the same, 3 to 4 a day. Google Plus, 3 or 4 a day. Yeah, I think that's a good cadence.
I agree. I was just writing this down, and it's exactly what we have in ours. We do LinkedIn about 3 a day, Google Plus about 2 a day, Facebook 2 to 3 a day, and tweets, we do it based on more about what we're finding that people are tweeting about, and is there a conversation now that started that we can tweet all day with, or is there really nothing of relevance out there, because the last thing we want to do is start talking about something that nobody is looking for and just posting or pushing things out into the market that's not relevant. So a lot of times we're monitoring for what are the questions about software development, what do people want to know, what are their challenges, and if we have solutions, then we start tweeting up a storm. And then we start blogging, we get their emails, and then we go offline and we start talking to them. So our tweet, the way we do with Twitter is we actually wait for the best possible opportunities for us to respond versus just jamming and just sending people things that they don't need.
That's great. Well, I would like to thank you both. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Jason, for joining us today. I think your insights are very valuable, and there's some good takeaways here. I want to remind the audience that the recording and the presentations will be made available, and we will follow up with you via email. You will also receive a full copy of the report that was released by SIIA this week for your own review and use. And with that, I'd like to close today's webinar again with a very special thanks to Mary and Jason, and I wish everyone a very successful rest of their week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.